to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that is perfectly balanced as all things should be. My name is Jarrett, and I'm hosting another Magic Monthly, number 2 for us. We started this off last month with a bang, and I don't think any of you guys were properly prepared for this episode. Joining me today as my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Robbie Sauter. How are you doing, bud?
I don't think I'm the man, the myth, or the legend in this episode, but
Sure.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're going to skip past you as quickly as we can because we got bigger and better things to move on to here. Joining us today, a special guest. You may know him from his illustrious NFL career. You may know him as the Bling God. You may know him from game nights, tabletop jocks, and a million other things. Cassius Marsh. Cassius, how are you doing, bud?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just hanging out in my little nerd can, little den over here,
You got quite the stuff going on in the background there. I'm pretty jealous.
Yeah, this is where I've been streaming lately, so it's been fun.
The TikToks I've been seeing the lives. I've been jumping in. Like, it's good stuff. I love that stuff.
It's fun. It's fun, bro. The community's like lit. You know what I mean? You can have fun with it. It's cool.
We were talking about that because we just got off of Magic Con, and it's crazy because like there are a few fandoms that people go like that hard for, and if they do, it's always like just full of gatekeepers and just a-holes trying to say like, oh no, I'm a real fan because of XYZ. But Magic is not like that at all, man. People are they're out here for each other. We've been making sure that we get all your stuff together and gathering your things so that we can promote this episode as much as possible. And we were talking about some of the decks that you had on TikTok, and Robbie was like, hey, make sure you go check out his Moxfield. Robbie, you want to talk about the Moxfield thing that we found?
Yeah, we jumped to the Moxfield because we just saw that you posted that Narset deck.
Yeah.
By the way, blows my mind because I'm 100% creature based deck building. Like I like Elf Ball, I like Mono Green, I like just pumping out dragons. That's my style.
Yeah.
And then I saw you make this Narset deck, and it has like 2 creatures, and it's 2 creatures and 1 planeswalker, and Narset, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's just so weird. It was like 30 different rocks, and then we go check out your Moxfield, and we see that you have 69 followers. And
yeah, I mean, I haven't
by
been like
our own rules, we can't follow you.
Yeah, according to the law,
it's just the perfect number.
We've got it locked in at a 69, so we can't
hold
legally.
on, I'm so sorry. That went right over
it's
my
the perfect
head.
Number.
Guys.
Someone else will have to fall on that sword.
That went right over my head, guys. Oh my! Like,
yeah.
Like, why did he get quiet after that? No, yeah, I know. It's we'll just have to get it to 169, then 269. You know what I mean, and so on and so forth. We'll just continue to keep it there. I'm always, I'm
right.
So.
And then 420, and
yeah, absolutely. We hit all the milestones. We celebrate them all. But yeah, I mean, I've only posted a couple of decks.
It's just my own personal preference. I can't be that guy.
I can't be the one to break this down.
I respect it. I respect it. Yeah, the Moxfield is honestly, it's only a couple. Most of the decks I've taken apart. The Narset is the first one that I put up recently that I still have. The other one that I have built on there is for somebody else in the NFL that I recently built this deck for. I'm not gonna reveal it right now, but I'm one of my homies, longtime NFL.
Really?
Oh, is that the AC?
The AC, yeah. I built this deck out for him, and it's gonna be. He's not going full tilt, but it's gonna be. It's nasty. It's still nasty. So
I've been a longtime Magic player. I started, I think, with Mirrodin block, and it's crazy because one of my buddies, I was working down in Alabama, and he's like, "Hey, you got to check out this Commander thing." And I had seen the precons and stuff, and I was like, it doesn't really look like my speed. And he's like, "Check out this game." He's like, "Watch this YouTube video. You'll be hooked instantly." And my first exposure to Commander was actually your Amonkhet Game Nights episode. I think you were playing Samut or whatever. And so you're the whole reason like I'm in Commander at all, which was awesome. When I found out like you were available, I was like, we got to get him on for an episode. And I wanted to talk to you because obviously you got your finger in a lot of pies. You're doing a lot of things right now. What are some of the stuff that you're working on? We've seen you on Tabletop Jocks. Obviously, you've been live like every night.
Honestly, man, obviously building up cash cards. We're doing our second location at Frankensons.
Awesome.
Really?
So our soft opening will be the day of our tournament, which is June 3rd and 4th.
And that's your CDH tournament you guys are doing?
Yep. Our CDH tournament. Prize pool is on my TikTok. It's super juicy. First place is Time Twister, and then the rest is also very, very juicy. But yeah, I'm doing that. Working on a couple other things, man. I'm working on a third location here in Southern California.
Okay.
The TikTok thing has been really fun. Streaming on there has been fun. I've been doing obviously Magic always, but Pokemon, sports, F1, Star Wars, like just all kinds of fun stuff.
Seriously.
You know, that's just been a Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I've got a box of Labyrinth of Nightmare Unlimited right here. Classic set, bro. It's a big time classic set right here.
That's the stuff. That's the stuff I grew up ripping.
Right.
Like, that's
it's
insane.
the good stuff. It's the good stuff before they changed it all and everything. The OG is super fun. Right. So I've got some fun stuff, and it's been a lot of it's just been a good time on TikTok, and you know, I've been making some just videos and having a good time, bro. Just enjoying life, bro. I've been working out. Obviously, I spent a lot of time working out, getting ready to try and make a comeback this season as well. So sat out last year with a torn ACL.
Yeah.
So
that's always on the table. It's always, you got to be ready.
Yeah. Got to stay in shape.
That's crazy.
Got to stay in shape.
If you had your pick right now, because obviously, like, you know, you're doing what you can to get back into it. Would you go back to the Seahawks?
I'd consider it, but
sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really want to get into the details of it all, but
that's fine.
It's a love-hate thing for me, because I have a lot of love for that place and the organization for drafting me and everything I learned. It's so vital to who I am as a man and how I was able to develop the teams and my teammates and some of the coaches and just so many people. And like the chef, I love the chef. His name's Stu. He freaking comes into my lives and he hangs out and he buys sports cards. So like I have so much love. So and the Seattle fans, they go hard for me. All the Magic people in front, you know, it's just
absolutely.
I love Seattle very much. So I would have to consider, just because of the love. I met my woman there. I met my wife there. Devin's from Seattle, so I would have to consider it. But it would be like, if I had a better option, then I would not probably choose the other.
Sure. I think you're basically a Chicago Bears legend after that little hip check thing. So like I know, I'm sure that probably always comes up in these conversations, but like I think they love you just for that. And you're like, I was walking out the field and just got hip checked because the ref just clearly threw a hip. And then threw a flag on you, which is the most ridiculous thing against that. It was the Steelers, if I remember right, and it was a tight game. It's like, that's the most ridiculous thing. You're basically a legend there. I think they would welcome you back with open arms.
I love my Chicago Bears fans, bro. They're passionate and they definitely have my back on that play, which was really cool. It's a weird thing for me because it's like, you know, I've had a pretty good career, you know, and that one moment seems to just be to stick out so much. Obviously, my celebration was, is pretty cool too. So that's a big part of it. And then it was I had played for the Steelers like right before I had basically left the Steelers and then played for Chicago. So it was just a funny thing, bro. The timing was crazy. The ref, I honestly don't know. I didn't even notice until like after the game.
That's wild.
I had no idea. Somebody had to say like, "Yo, did you see the ref? What he did to you?" And I was like, "What? Like, I know he threw the flag. I don't know why, but you know, it was just a whole weird situation. It really was." But the dude ended up retiring. I think the league was just like, you know, this was so egregious. Like, you're old, you might as well just move on.
Right. Yeah. Well, he probably threw his hip out just doing that, running into you. My goodness.
But like, why? You know, I hadn't done anything in that. Like, I hadn't done anything in that game to that point, like to stir any. I wasn't talking like nothing, bro. I didn't say. It was crazy. I was really like, because I had love for my teammates on the Steelers. So I was, you know, chilling, and so I just thought that was the crazy part to me, is that I hadn't like, you know, sometimes you can have games where refs aren't calling stuff and you might be chipping, like talking a little trash to them or whatever. So they might want to get back at you, but that just came out of nowhere.
That's wild.
Jared, before you go, I just got to ask one football question. I coach D-line in high school football, so I have to get this in just for my D linemen. What's just one piece of advice you would give to a high school you from where you are now?
I would just say treat every practice like it's a game and try and have the perfect practice. Like always try and have the perfect practice. Because I think for any high school and I mean any athlete in general, and I'd probably say anybody with any type of trade or whatever they're doing, like practicing, taking notes, studying other great people like teammates or, great players in the NFL, college, whatever, that type of stuff, and having just creating the regiment. I always tell my little brother about creating the regiment, and that's done wonders for me, both on the field and off the field. So
cool. I appreciate that.
Right, locking that in. We talked about you guys are hosting your second annual CDH tournament, obviously at the new location that you guys are opening up. Are you big in the CDH scene? What are you playing right now?
So I enjoy. So here's my thing with CDH. Okay, I don't enjoy tournaments like playing in them because they're so long. That's my thing. It's a long time, and I'm not in the place. And if I had prepped for it and I was like really trying to go pro, which I think one day I want to do, just like, to make it fun, do like a whole videography thing behind it, make it like the journey, trying to go pro and seeing like if I can win like a world champ, something dope.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
right now, not in the cards.
All my decks are pretty much CEDH or like as CEDH as they can be. Like, the Narset one's probably not all the way CEDH. It's like, if it's completely tuned for CDH is 10, my deck's probably like a 9.2.
Right.
But my one CDH deck that I love that I think it's built for CDH is Teferi.
Like mono blue, like Chainveil Teferi?
Mono, yeah. And it won our first tournament, and it just operates in such a, I just think it's so clean. I just love it. It's so versatile. And
that's a classic deck, you know what I mean? Like that's the OG like CEDH deck is Chainveil Teferi. That's awesome.
And it died for like a long time, but then he played it in the tournament, and I watched him like Chromatic Orrery is so good and forever I will roast Jimmy. Josh Lee Kwai. I would roast Josh Lee Kwai forever because he kept saying that card is bad. And I thought it was just unbelievable that he could really say that.
Yeah.
You drops for 7 colorless. You have 5 of any color available, and it draws you cards. It's mind-bogglingly good. And he played that card in my tournament and just swept everybody. It was gross. It was so yucky.
Obviously your major thing right now is Magic. But being, King Cash, you're kind of got everything going on. What are do you have any TCGs that you're working on like that you personally play right now? Or is it just, hey, I don't have time, I got everything else?
No, I really don't have time for any other games.
Sure.
I've played Cryptic recently. That's a cool game.
Cryptic.
And then there's another one coming out called Alpha Clash. That seems pretty interesting, but I just don't have time for other games. I know some people are pretty hot on like I think it's the new Naruto or the new Bleach or not Bleach,
One Piece
game.
Yeah.
And also My Hero.
Yeah.
I've heard about My Hero a little bit too. I just don't have time to play the games though, bro. I barely have time to even get Magic games in at this point. So for me, starting another TCG just seems like silly.
You're not going to bust out and buy all the Lorcana that you can?
Lorcana, I will be investing heavily into getting Lorcana product and holding, like trying to get very high-end pieces for sure. Game, if I'll play it, I mean, I think I'll have to play it just to like understand it so I can invest in it the right way.
Sure.
And it's Disney, bro. Like if they do this right, we could
Yeah.
have a big 4. Because right now we have
Yeah.
a big 3, right? It's MTG, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. But
Right.
Disney's huge, bro. If
Disney
they do this
prints
thing
money,
right,
man.
if they do this thing right, bro, it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick. If they make the game good, the collectible side, they do everything right. They build the community. It'll be sick. I mean, their community's already there, but like if they nurture it.
Yeah.
Right.
People
And
are going nuts.
Yeah, they got all the IPs. They can throw Marvel and they can throw anything they want into that thing.
Bro,
So it's crazy.
I mean, they could literally go forever.
Right.
Yeah.
They could go forever. There's so many little sectors, little movies. Like, I mean, dude, imagine if they dropped a Lion King set. Wow. I can't wait, bro. Like, you know what I mean? That's everybody's. What's your favorite Disney movie? Is like that's like a question, like for dating shows and shit. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. Any Flesh and Blood? Have you dipped your toes into that at all?
I saw it. I mean, I know it's been going up. Like, I know a lot of Magic people are upset with WotC for some things.
Right.
Maybe understandably, but I've heard it's a good game.
Yeah.
And I think they pay some attention to the collectability side of things, which is cool. Again, it's another one of those games. There's no community for it here, like where I'm at. Like, not too many people ask about it where we're at, and I haven't had many conversations about it. But I know in other places, it's pretty popular. It's like growing.
I got one more question for you, as like both a player and a collector, I guess, and a business owner as well.
Right.
So there's this sort of like conversation surrounding the saturation of the market with Magic and how, like, obviously they're printing sets like crazy. We talked about how like there's so many versions of Shouldered right now because they keep releasing like new frames and new art styles and new foiling. Does this affect you quite a bit? Because I know, like, if you reprint something a million times, like Talpa, for example, right? A card's like 5 cents now because they've printed it 100 times. What do you think about all this, the saturation that's going on?
I mean, you don't love it because here, like, all right, people who are collectors that have been like really collecting over the past like 7 years of like modern, they don't like it. That's really bad for them because every card that's money is getting reprinted. So like you got it early and you held because you're a collector and you're like, oh, I'll flip it at some point, but now it's back to like almost below where you bought it at, and like just the reprinting sucked for them. And I was a part of that. Like, I've sold a lot of my modern stuff. Anything that's not on the reserve list, I don't typically like hold anymore. I keep them like to play in my deck, but if I'm not playing them in a deck, like I'm not going to hold anything modern anymore. And I think that that's totally fine. And it'll eventually like stabilize itself. It'll make the point of entry for a lot of the classic formats for us be a lot better, a lot lower, which I think a lot of people have been calling for a while, because it is a little intimidating. Like the deck, my boy, like he was like, he's got money, so he was like, get me the full, the dopest of the dope and blah blah blah. And I sent him the spreadsheet, and he was like, oh, okay, well, like here's what my actual budget is. And I'm like, yeah, bro. Because people don't, it can be how much Magic, how much Magic really costs. They're like, what? It's crazy. But yeah, I think I understand why people are upset. Because so many people have just collected the same way for a long time, but they're changing it a little bit. And then I think it'll have some benefits, and I don't know. It changed the way that I invested in the game. Which is totally fine. Like everything changes at some point, and you just have to be able to adjust to it and know that if WotC's doing more sets, that means, especially like Lord of the Rings, and they're doing collabs with Street Fighter, and they're doing like really cool stuff. This gets more people into the game, which makes it more known, which makes more opportunity for like tournaments. Like, dude, I think Commander could have like a world tour and like really have people into it, bro. Because Commander is most interactive and crazy. You see so many different cards, and it's an amazing gameplay, and it's fun to watch. Everybody likes watching Commander. Like, unless you're super competitive, nobody cares about watching Standard, bro.
Right. And it's all on Arena now anyways, so like if you want to keep paper Magic alive, it's got to be Commander.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Sure. I think that's my little 5-minute take or whatever. I just adjust. I think that's just the should always be the mindset for any collector, because the market is changing on several different levels. You feel me?
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know Jarret said last question, but I feel like we have to talk about the One Ring. Will you be going after the One Ring?
So here's what I'll say. I'm gonna be doing a collaboration with a company that's doing some big things right now. I want to open as much of this as possible live and see if I can pull it on stream. I really do. Okay, I'm going to set this up. It's gonna happen. But like, am I personally gonna open a ton like for myself? No, because the chances are so, you know what I mean? They're so low,
astronomically small,
and especially with the last like super rare card that everybody was, the 69th like Ragavan or whatever, or the first one. Somehow they ended up in the same place. Like, oh, that's wild.
We're guessing that it's gonna be opened in Barcelona, in Magic Barcelona. That's when they're releasing the set. They're gonna open it there somehow. It's gonna magically show up there.
That would be bad for Magic, though, if they did that.
I don't know.
If it doesn't look random the first time, it's gonna look bad. It's gonna look real bad.
See, I have a hard time believing that they don't know exactly where that card is at all times.
I think what I would say is that it's gonna end up at one of the big distro type stores, like the. Somehow, some way, these guys get 10,000 boxes every fucking drop. It's crazy, It's probably gonna end up at place like that. But I mean, I'm gonna definitely try and go get it. There's some serialized cards. I just want to open a bunch. If we hit it, that'd be the craziest thing ever. I would be blown away. It'd probably be my new favorite memory in life. But the chances are low.
We'll go ahead and wrap it up. I do want to actually quick while I got you, because I've seen this on Tabletop Jocks, and I think you're like the only other person riding this train with me. Can I get one official King Cash Foil God PSA to unban Hullbreacher? Or sorry, Hullbreacher.
Dude,
I need the stamp of approval.
Is not that broken, you guys. There's so many broken things in Magic.
Yeah.
And Hullbreacher, after just getting printed, gets got, bro. How is this? It's a creature. You can counter it. You can kill it. You can exile it. It's so easy to get rid of. I mean, that one really, really bothers me, honestly.
And Narset's still on the table. All these other
it is. Yeah,
dude. All bans bother me. I think no banless Magic. I think we should make that a thing. I really am trying to I know it's expensive. It can get expensive because now if you do no ban list, everybody's playing power and blah blah blah. Whatever. If it's so much fun, bro. I don't care if you proxy. I don't care. Open it up. Let's everybody proxy just so that we can do it. It's so fun, bro. Yeah. I play with Posty and Joe and Rick from Atlas Cards at Frankensons. He's a super OG of the Magic game. He's been in forever. We played no ban list Magic, and it was so much fun, bro. The interactions were absolutely insane. It was nuts. We had turn 1 wins, turn 2 wins, turn 3, obviously. Yeah. And then we had games that went for 7 or 8 turns because everybody just kept stopping each other. It was it was nuts. It was so fun, bro. I mean, okay, Hullbreacher, yes, absolutely. That one's completely outrageous.
Like an incredible game to watch.
All banned. What's the Titan that's banned?
Well, hey, we fully agree.
You know what I'm talking about?
Is it Primeval Titan? Primetime?
Yeah, Primeval Titan.
Yeah.
That one I don't get it. It doesn't even have haste. It costs 6. All right, I'm ranting. I'm sorry. I just had to go with it.
Makes sense.
The You're good. You're good.
You're good.
I agree fully. I think the ban list is ridiculous. I think they should open up, but that's another one of those like, we can hand wave it with Rule 0 or whatever. But like, you heard it here first. Cassius said it. Like, do no ban list Commander games. Make sure if you guys are fans of ours, if you like Magic, make sure to check out all that stuff. Again, if you're local to Southern California, get some CDH games in, test out your deck beforehand, and then go hit up the tournament. Like, promises to be a good time. Like, there's great people there, so check that out. And to you, the listeners, wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thank you guys so much for making us part of your day. We love you 3000. This has been Magic Monthly with Jarret and Robbie. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Infinity Bros. Feel free to send listener feedback via email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.